All right. Now we're cooking. Streaming properly now. Let's click go live here. All right. Now we're good. Know what we're doing now. All right. Hope you're doing well. It is Tuesday. If you have questions about your pre-med journey, let me know. I'm just walking and working, doing my thing. Get my setup here so I can see what's going on. Actually, what I can do is that. All right. Streaming properly now. Let me know if you can hear me. My sound's okay. Testing out a new mic. Should be good to go. All right. How's everyone doing? Application season for those who are applying. Who's applying this cycle? Let me know. Yep, David. Hello, what's going on? You can hear me all right? That's fantastic. I'm assuming that's what the yep is for. Awesome. All right. What's going on? Kind of crazy questions you got? Next cycle, partners applying this year. Oh, that's exciting. Hey, Dr. Gray, interviewed at a couple places. How important is continued interest and what's the best way to demonstrate it? Honestly, at this point, it's kind of hard to keep showing that interest, right? Because at the end of the day, your goal is to kind of just follow the rules. And so if the medical school has any sort of rules around interacting with them, then I would just follow those rules. If they have second look days, that's probably the best thing to do, is to make sure that you're staying in touch with second look days, that kind of stuff. But typically those second look days are for students who are accepted, not just interviewed. So it's a lot of just watching or waiting and watching and crossing fingers at this point. Wondering if med schools view these programs differently. Postbaccs, hard science masters, such as medical physiology, University SMP. Do they prefer one over the other? We have found big picture that schools typically prefer the undergrad postbaccs, but that's not a rule across the board. And so I think at the end of the day, do what works best for you. When to fill out FAFSA starting this summer, do I need to put parent info on it? FAFSA for medical schools? If it's for medical schools, then you just follow whatever the medical school wants. I don't believe parent info has to go on FAFSA for medical school. My daughter, pre-med sophomore, having difficulties getting clinical hours. Doctor's offices are asking for 23 hours, which you can't do. How and where to reach out? Just keep asking. Look at hospice, EMT, being a medical assistant, going and volunteering in a hospital, anywhere, everywhere that you can look. It's getting lots of no's to get to that yes. Currently studying for the MCAT and applying the cycle. Any advice, tips for MCAT studying? Nothing super specific other than make sure that you're doing lots of practice tests and lots of questions. That's where the money is for the MCAT. Biggest mistake that students make with the MCAT is too much content review. So don't fall into that trap. Ben, how many hours as an EMT for clinical experience should I try to hit? Depends on the school experience. There's no number that we talk about. It's consistency and recency more than anything else. So keep focusing on that. Way far. Sound is good. Thank you. Known weaknesses, the sun and chapstick. Yeah, right there with you. My pale redheadedness gives it away. What are your thoughts on biomedical engineers who realize they want to go to medical school? Do medical schools care about that? It's actually very common. We see lots of BMEs applying, both who decided later and who wanted to study BME while being a pre-med. So at the end of the day, what I generally say is don't worry about your undergrad degree, your studies, your classes, trying to use that to separate yourself, because it's just, they're just classes. So don't worry about that. Is being a clinical exercise physiologist a good clinical experience? Yeah, I was an exercise physiologist for my degree. I didn't do much actual exercise physiology after, but it's a great clinical experience. Should I go for a new DO school in Montana or an MD accredited in Puerto Rico? Well, the DO school's accredited as well. Let's not mix up words here. A new DO school has a preliminary accreditation. Nope, not pre-accredited, preliminarily accredited. Very different words. Pre-accredited means they're not accredited. Preliminary accreditation is what every school has to have to start, and then after they graduate their first class, they get re-reviewed, and then hopefully no issues, they'll get their full accreditation, which generally happens. It's up to you. I would go to the school that you feel like you will fit in the best at. The school in Puerto Rico probably is going to be in Spanish. So how good your Spanish? So you just got to make sure that works. Puerto Rican schools are U.S. schools. You're not considered an IMG. So there is some benefit there. Questions. What's up, Michael Motorcycle? Is hospital volunteering beneficial if all I'm doing is paperwork and making bags? No, not at all. You need to be interacting with patients. That's the goal. All right. I'm using my iPhone as a camera in my setup. Not a bad picture today. Is a new edition of your pre-med playbook coming out soon? No, I don't think a new one needs to be. Obviously, there's like the cost of things is a little bit different. I have 4 pre-med playbook books out there, but no specific updates anytime soon, because ultimately at the end of the day, what the books teach is about storytelling. It's about how to put your best foot forward, and that doesn't need to change year to year. If you took a while to graduate, you can still be considered a strong applicant. Not a problem. If you haven't gotten an interview invite until now, should you give up on the cycle? I wouldn't give up on it, but I would I would think really strongly about what happened, why didn't it work out, and start preparing for another application, whether it's this next cycle or the one after, to figure out what's going on. We have sessions. They're still $99, application renovation sessions I'll put in here, where one of our advisors will go over your application with you and see if you can figure it out. Am I an MD? I am indeed an MD. Yay. How about working as a transporter? Is that considered clinical? It's one of the weaker clinical experiences, but I would go ahead and put it as clinical. I would try to do some other things as well. People have been fear-mongering me because I'm a non-trad, a low GPA, considering an SMP at Drexel. Why do you care? Catch me later. Why do you care what other people think? Why are they fear-mongering you? Are they telling you that you can't get into medical school? Are they an admissions committee member at every single medical school in the country? And they know the ins and outs of every single admissions process at every single medical school in the country? No. Don't listen to other people. It's all about reducing the perception of academic risk. And so that's where Postbaccs SMPs come into play. Obviously, a good enough MCAT score, clinical experience, shadowing, good stories, all that stuff. Working as a clinical research coordinator, we have both research experience and clinical experience. I'm wondering if I need to break down the hours to specifically research or clinical. You don't have to. A lot of students will split it into two. Just to mention, if you're applying this cycle, Application Academy closes in 3 days for our first cohort. It is our group coaching advising. You get myself. It's the only place where you'll get me as an advisor these days. Dr. Christine Crispin, former director of admissions at UC Irvine. Dr. Scott Wright, former director of admissions at UT Southwestern. He used to run all of TMDSAS. Courtney Lewis, former director of admissions. Dina Golini, former senior admissions officer. Carlos Tapia, former director of admissions. You get an amazing team of advisors at your beck and call to help you through the application process. It is the most valuable thing that we do to help students get into medical school. We have FAP pricing, so come to Application Academy. Closes on 1/31. There's no reason you shouldn't be there. So come on. All right. Finance junior, no idea what to take to start pivoting. Go to your pre-med office if they have one, your pre-health office, and start asking those questions. But at the end of the day, you're a baby pre-med student. You're going to take all the baby pre-med classes like Gen Chem and Gen Bio and all this kind of stuff. Corey Christian, I'm nervous about this journey. That means you care about it. Keep going. Keep going. What is a good post-bac program that has financial assistance? I don't know of any post-bac programs that have financial assistance. It's not something that I keep track of, but generally you can't get federal financial aid for post-bac programs. It's just one of the caveats of post-bac programs. How much of an advantage do I gain by applying after graduation with a bachelor's in biology in hand? None. Your degree is not necessary to stand out. So no, none. Now, there are caveats like, do you need to delay your application so that you can show an upward trend, all that kind of stuff. So again, lots of caveats there, but the degree itself doesn't matter. Minimal research, will be applying the cycle. I know it's recommended, but I have confidence in other application areas. Should I begin research now for this app? Research is the most overrated part of the application process, according to Premed. So no, I don't think you need to go do that. How familiar are you with waitlisted students? 2 interviews, 2 waitlists so far. What's a piece of advice? Wait. Yeah, there's lots of movements once April and May hit with people kind of reducing their acceptances down to 1 school. So hopefully you got that. How much more difficult is it to get into competitive surgery specialties in DO school than MD? You can go look at some of that data. The data doesn't actually answer the question, though, about how competitive it is. But you can see who is matching from DO schools. But at the end of the day, there are probably DO students matching into the competitive specialties that you want. So why not you? JSTRFNS3443, Application Academy is great. Everybody should join. Best decision I ever made. Thank you. I have no idea who you are, JSTRFNS3443, but I appreciate that. Applicationacademy.com. Go sign up. Go sign up. It is still $100 off. And again, FAP pricing available. Applicationacademy.com. Are you coming to MSAS at UCF-Com? I'm not. I'll actually be at UF. Any Gators in the house? I'll be at UF this weekend for an event. But the Medical School Admissions Symposium at UCF, the MSAS, no, they haven't invited me back since, I don't know, 2019. I did like 2 keynotes there, and I guess I made someone mad because I haven't been invited back. 19, applying. Will medicals think I'm too young? Age typically isn't a factor outside of the fact that you have less time to get the experiences that you typically need to put together a good application. So if you have those, I'm less concerned. Should I apply to an American med school as a Canadian with 3.4 but A's in my last 252 courses? You can. You can. No reason not to. All right. I'm curious about your applicant program. Can you expand on the FAP pricing? If you were accepted for FAP through AMCAS or COMAS for Application Academy, you just submit your FAP document and we'll send you a link to sign up with the FAP pricing. Easy as that. I'm a freshman going to start a course to become an EMTB for the summer. Do you think it's a good idea? If you want to be an EMTB, go Gators. Great MS program. Hello, Sasha. Thank you for saying hi. Ayana, is it uncommon to specialize in family medicine after MD, PhD? And what makes a competitive MD, PhD applicant? Research, good grades, all the normal stuff, but lots of research. Is it uncommon to specialize in family medicine? I don't know what the data is on where people go after MD, PhD programs, but who cares if it's uncommon? If that's what you want to do, go for it. Premed, I only started doing my extracurriculars my junior year of college. Will it look bad on my application? How can I explain myself? I wasn't sure if I wanted to do med and wasted time studying inefficiently. Will it look bad? I wouldn't say it would look bad. I would say potentially it'll look like you're checking a box. I will say potentially it looks like maybe you don't have enough experience to apply or write about the things that you're supposed to write about. It also depends. Are you applying your junior year or are you going to wait until senior year to apply? Those are very different things. So it happens. Go for it. Questions are coming fast and heavy. I thought I was going to get some work done while I was chatting with you all. Can you talk about how to find your reasons to pursue medicine? And that's most of what I talk about is finding your why. Right? I think everyone has a reason. Am I on a treadmill? Yes, I'm on a treadmill. With this cool like what's that Beat Saber game? Kind of tunnel that I'm walking through. I can change that too, but I'll leave it. I like it. So at the end of the day, your why is what exposed you to healthcare that has now led you to get experiences in healthcare that has now confirmed why you want to be a doctor. And there's only a handful that are just super common for most people. It's personal injury or illness, family injury or illness, friend injury or illness, right? Or exposure through parents or other family members who are in healthcare. And so that's the general kind of story that we all have. And it's relatively the same for any other career, But for us weirdos, we just happen to be going into healthcare because that was the exposure. I gave a talk about this at MapCon last year about stars and experts in other fields and kind of what led them to where they are. And so I was looking up like Taylor Swift's journey. One of her earliest memories is her grandmother singing in church. So she was exposed to singing and performance. A couple great football coaches exposed, like Bill Belichick. His father was a coach and was exposed to coaching and athletics and all that stuff. So now you have Bill Belichick, one of the greatest NFL coaches of all time, arguably, if he would have been anything without Brady, but that's a whole nother conversation. People like other physicians, right? I had Sanjay Gupta, Dr. Sanjay Gupta on the podcast, and he's a neurosurgeon. He was exposed. He was going down the engineering route, and at 13, I think, his grandfather or grandmother, I forget which one, had a stroke, and he was exposed to the world of medicine and neurosurgery and all that stuff. So here he is. So we all have these exposures that lead us here. Don't be afraid if they're common. All right. Again, Application Academy closes 131. If you're applying this cycle, get into Application Academy. Get into it. applicationacademy.com. Hey there, I'm a new sophomore. Please don't judge. Have a bad 3.2 science GPA so far, but got 2 C's and 4 W's. I'm still interested in medicine. I'm showing an upward trend. Do I still have a chance? You're only a sophomore. Of course you have a chance. Focus on why you're struggling. Focus on why you need to get the W's and improve. At the end of the day, you want to make sure that medical schools don't judge you as an academic risk. And you do that by getting good grades. Three years of experience as a clinical researcher. However, I only have 1 mid-author publication, 2 poster presentations. Will low research productivity hinder my MD PhD application? Potentially, maybe. I don't know. You have 1 publication, 2 poster presentations. I don't know what the averages are for MD PhD applications. That data, as far as I know, doesn't exist. I wish it did. But if you're applying MD PhD and you want to be an MD PhD, go for it. Debating between a master's in kinesiology or stronger extracurriculars in my gap year. Do you have any advice? Stephen, the advice is, what do you need? And what do you want? Do you need to show improved grades? Then you need more classes. Do you need to show better extracurriculars? Then you should focus on that. If it is the former and you need improved grades, then I wouldn't recommend applying while you're in your master's to show those good grades. Philosophy major, senior year, 3.0 GPA, no prereqs. Nursing double major or postbac. Philosophy major, senior, 3.0, no prereqs. Nursing degrees don't make sense to me for pre-meds. If you want to go to medical school, don't major in nursing. A lot of people do it because it's a backup, but it's so much extra stuff that you don't need. I would just do some postbac work. You don't even need another major. All right. Stream's banging today. What's going on, friends? Does MSAR show if online classes will be accepted? Yeah, and you actually don't need the MSAR. Don't pay for the MSAR for that. If you go to, if you just Google MSAR PDFs, the PDFs of the MSAR, of most of the data of the MSAR is available. including the prereq coursework charts, I think is what they're called. So go check those out. I am a freshman. Is it too early to join Application Academy? Application Academy is meant for students applying now. Good question. What are the questions you have about Application Academy? Let's chat about Application Academy as much as we can, because that's my goal, is get as many people into Application Academy as possible, because you just don't know how awesome it is. It's group coaching. For those who don't know, I'll come back to you, Selena. It's group coaching, so very different from our one-on-one. Our one-on-one averages $300+ an hour. For Application Academy, you get basically 10 months through most of October for $500 right now. Or if you're FAP, it's $300. That's a deal, right? $300 for 10 months, or $300 for 1 hour for our one-on-one advising. That's as simple as it gets, right? So a lot of people are like, well, it's group coaching. What am I missing out? Right? You're missing out on one-on-one, but you get a ton of value, and you get out of it what you put into it. You show up or you watch recordings. You don't have to come live. Most people don't come live. We have on average 10 to 15 students typically per session. They're live. We review essays. If you go to applicationacademy.com, we have videos on the site. We did a preview 2 weeks ago to show what Application Academy is like. So if you go to go to applicationacademy.com, then you can check out those previews. Are there any non-trad, I'm assuming, focused Application Academy? A lot of people in Application Academy are non-trads. We attract a lot of non-trads at medical school headquarters. I don't know if that's because we have the old Premeds brand, or if that's just non-trads are looking for information, potentially more than others. All right, Selena, back to you. Thank you for your kind words. I promised myself all A's going forward. But how do I explain the 4 W's and 2 C's? I don't know if you really need to explain it. It is what it is. Prove yourself now. You'll be good. There will be some secondaries typically that'll say, hey, if you got anything less than a B or B minus, let us know. And then you can explain yourself there. The AMCAS application has the other impactful experiences essay, and that may be a place to talk about it. All right. So yes, I'm on a treadmill. I walk most days that I'm working, unless I'm actually recording something downstairs in my studio, which is just my mostly unfinished basement that I have set up. I walk most days trying to get at least 10,000 steps, but lately it's closer to 20,000. So Dylan, let's go. Got into med school this last cycle, thanks to Med School HQ. Let's go. Love it. Thank you. Do you offer a group coaching program for those earlier in the process? We don't, Alyssa. That's an interesting thought. We do have what we call pre-med pathway, but it's a one-on-one process. I would say the group, what we offer for students earlier in the process actually is probably what you want at Mapped Pro. So Mapped is our software platform. It's our pre-med, pre-PA tracking platform portfolio system, where you can track all of your activities, your grades, start building school lists, all that kind of stuff. And part of Mapped Pro, it's $90 a year, so affordable for almost everyone. You get access to chat advising with the same advisors. So you can come do it. When do you advise I best join Application Academy? Selena, if you're applying this cycle, then you would join Application Academy this cycle. I wouldn't wait for your MCAT score, because Once you get your MCAT score, then you're scrambling. That's later. 3.6 with an upward trend. Do you recommend a postbac or master's? I don't know if you need one, but I don't know if you have enough information at this point. I need some more info. A 3.6 with an upward trend, depending on how long that upward trend is and how good it is, you may not need a postbac or a master's. Would application academy be helpful for applying to postbac? Potentially. I think you need to determine how much help you need with your postbac, what that application looks like. Are you applying through Postbaccs, which is basically the same as a COMIS? Then yeah, maybe. Is working in a podiatry clinic as an MA quality clinical experience for medical PA school? I would consider it some good experience. I'm still very confused about MD PhD and how it's different than classic MD or PhD program. Would an individual who's pursuing MD PhD look like? So MD PhD, they're two different career paths. MD PhD students are generally supposed to, and this is very interesting because I just had the conversation with the Dean of Admissions at NYU, an off the record conversation, because NYU just stopped accepting students for their MD PhD program. The goal of an MD PhD program is to produce physician scientists, those who are going to be in research with a little bit of clinical experience. Now, I think unfortunately what a lot of people do is they apply to MD PhD programs because they want free tuition and a stipend at the MSCP programs. And then they come out and they practice regular old medicine, and they're actually not physician scientists. And that's a waste of physician scientist spots for physician scientists to push the boundaries of medicine and science and technology and everything else. They're two different career paths. One is supposed to be a research-oriented career. The other is supposed to be a clinically oriented career. That's the easiest way to think about it. Will having an MPH in epidemiology help my application? No, it will not. Sophomore, working on grades. I'm not applying now and not even taking the MCAT. If I join Application Academy now, like you said, no. I said you join Application Academy if you're applying this cycle. You're not applying this cycle, so you shouldn't join. With the recent news about federal spending, will medical students not be able to take out loans through FAFSA? Well, they don't take out loans through FAFSA. FAFSA is a way that generates some sort of need, but that's not how loans are taken out. I don't know. It's too early to know. There's lots of chaos happening right now. I have no idea at the end of the day. I haven't seen if it'll affect loans for undergrad, for medical school, just loans in general. I don't know. So we have to take a breath and figure it out. Right. Do you recommend letters of intent for schools that allow them? I recommend a letter of intent for the school that you will go to if accepted. Yes, and if they allow them. Good caveat there. Just a reminder, applicationacademy.com. If you are applying this cycle, you cannot sign up after January 31st for our first cohort. So make sure you're joining if you're applying this cycle. Again, it's group coaching. It is access to 6 amazing advisors, 4 awesome TAs who are Academy grads who are now in medical school. You get access to myself, 4 directors of admissions and 1 senior admissions officer, 4 former directors of admissions, 1 former senior admissions officer. It's Mondays and Wednesdays, this first cohort, different times each week, Mondays and Wednesdays. Typically 2 of us at each session on Monday and Wednesday. And then TA office hours are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday for TA office hours as well. You don't have to show up live. You can watch the replays. So come check it out, applicationacademy.com. Will I be continuing the Mission Accepted series? Probably not Mission Accepted. My hope is that I continue application renovation at least. It's been a real struggle to get people to sign up for that. So trying. I think I have 2 applications that I need to look at. 100 hours of wet lab research without any pubs. Is that good clinical experience? Well, it's not clinical experience. It's research experience. What would you recommend for LORs? Is 1 to 2 MDs, 1 to 2 PAs that I have a good relationship with enough? So you need letters. And this is where I think a lot of students fail in the process, is they don't look at letter recommendation requirements. You need the letters that the med school wants. So 1 med school may want 2 science, 1 non-science professor. 1 med school may want 2 science, 1 physician letter. Yeah, and you just have to piece it all together. Make sure that you're getting them all. Best time to join Application Academy would be January of the year I'm going to take the MCAT and apply the May of that year. Got it. Yes, Selena, you got it. The year that you are applying. Would an LOR from PA's work? I would not get an LOR from a PA. Hi, Ryan. I was just curious if you could talk what's needed with the other 2 TMDSAS essays. If you check out my Premed Playbook Guide to the Medical School Application Process, I have 4 Premed Playbook books. 1 on the interview, 1 on the personal statement, 1 on the MCAT, and 1 on the application process. The application process book has a full breakdown of those TMDSAS essays. But at the end of the day, 1 of them is required, 1 is not required. They're both required. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. The required essay is basically like what experiences are you going to add to the class? Thinking about your skills, your traits, your experiences that are going to add to the educational environment of your classmates. And then the other essay is basically, you can think of it similar to the other impactful experiences essay. Is there anything else that you want to tell the admissions committee about your life to add context to your application? Will using a letter from a DO for an MD school be unfavorable? No. Will not. Oh, man. If I work as an EMT, then should I get an LOR from my supervisor? No. You need to get LORs from what the medical schools say you need to get LORs from. Unfortunately, it's not a choose your own adventure. What is the beginner playbook? I would probably say the application process. Just a good overview. That would be the one. All right, friends, I got to go get some work done. I thought I was going to get some work done while I was talking with you all. But you guys showed up today. I'll try to come on more often now that this is a pretty easy setup for me to just jump on and walk and talk and work with you all. So you all have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon.